getting close to the holidays, be sure to check out the merch site, link down in the description below. Get yourself one of those awesome hoodies. I know you want one. Today is going to be a big day because I plan on setting up another mob farm. Now, currently we do have a mob farm that is over here that is producing overworld things and stuffs, right? It is producing all kinds of things, but we are not receiving nether related things. So I want to set up a mob spawner inside the nether, and I think this is going to be a great source of power. Now, of course, to get started, we're going to have to pop another chicken. Yeah, that's a thing. I just never know if I'm a bad guy or not. I honestly feel like I'm slowly becoming that. Now, I've done a little bit of building. The ultimate goal is to have my portal removed here and to use a waystone. Now, the building I did was to kind of prevent this area from getting blown up by floating gas, which are the worst. My plan is to set up a mob farm and hopefully get Blaze to spawn. Now, I'm not quite sure if Blaze will actually spawn here, but we can always test. That's what this is all about. So let's go ahead and get this set up. I am going to need this block here to be removed. Actually, we can go ahead and just let it get converted. So let's go ahead and convert this to cursed earth. There we go. Thankfully, no mobs have spawned because we have a light in here. Don't mistakenly place it without putting a light. You will regret that decision. And then I need to put this here. I think I can actually just use a lever right here for right now while we test. So we have this. We need to get our vector plates in. I think this is the pattern I'm going to go with for the vector plates. Always have all sides pointing like that. And then I'm going to just have everything sort of moved into this way. These vector plates are so powerful. Don't really have to worry too much about them being placed in wonky ways. As you can see, like, they'll fight with me, not letting me get out of this spot. Like, I can't really move out without holding shift. So it's pretty powerful. So to test and see what mobs are going to be spawning before I even set any of the other stuff up, let's go ahead and place our glass in. Oh, before we do this, we actually might want to turn this on, then place our glass in, break that, and see what we get spawning in here. And hopefully some blaze. If not, we are going to have to move to a different location. Yeah, so far, doesn't seem like blazes are spawning. So, yep, exactly as I expected. Yep, we are going to have to move this to a different location. Now, don't just mine this stuff up. Use Silk Touch, and you can actually Silk Touch all of the dreadful dirt. Just like this. So I've went ahead and used my Fort Blaze, which right here is my portal or my waystone. I have everything set up here. I think this is going to function this time. I have everything set up, all the dirt, but we are now in a fortress, like in the actual fortress itself. You have to build on the stone or the nether brick, and this should function now. We should get blazes from this. Like, definitely. At least wither skeletons should spawn. At least I hope so. Okay, so we're getting pigs. Let's just hope. If not, we do have a blaze spawner over there, and we might just be able to set up a blaze spawner in this build. So unfortunately, this farm is still not producing exactly what I'm wanting, which is kind of unfortunate because I was hoping to have like a source of blaze. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get into, I think, apotheosis or some other way to potentially start spawning in mobs that we want. I think I know a way that we could set this up and potentially get this working. Oh, I have some ideas. Now, I never thought I would say this, but we're going to be using jelly babies, XP jelly babies, to spawn in mobs. This is kind of a neat mechanic that is a part of mob grinding utils that I've really not covered a whole lot. Yeah, it's kind of an obscure way of spawning them in, but I think it's going to be really cool because with this farm that we already set up, we're generating extra XP that we aren't going to really use. So we can use it in an entity spawner. Now, we do need a mob egg in order to do this. So how do we go about getting a mob egg? Well, let me show you. First things first, we are going to need to make ourselves a mob swab. And then go find a mob that we want the egg from. In our case, I'm definitely wanting a blaze. So I need to head over and collect a blaze. So all I need to do is walk up and boop it. And there we go. So just right click on it And there we go. We have some DNA of a blaze. Now I'm still going to need 1 bucket of XP, and that should honestly be it. We are going to make a GM chicken feed. And yes, another chicken will be lost in the making of this video. Come here, little chicken. I have a surprise for you.
Happy birthday, João!
Yep. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, you gotta love that. Happy birthday, Darko. Okay, so we have a blaze spawner, or spawn egg. This is what we're gonna use. And yes, this is a real Minecraft spawn egg. It functions in the same way. So you could just slap this in a spawner in the overworld, and it would change it to a blaze spawner in the overworld. But we're gonna use it for something much cooler. So now with this farm running, I think it's time to remove the jumbo tank that we have and replace it with this thing. So this is the XP solidifier. And yes, inside here, we need to put ourselves a cast. This is just made with some gold and the essence. And so this is going to go in here. And now we need to basically convert the fluid XP into jelly babies. And before we can actually make the spawner, we've got to let this, well, work for a little while. It can also push the items, by the way, to a side. So just keep that in mind. It needs 1,000 buckets. Yeah, 1,000 millibuckets before it should start doing a process, I believe. I think so. I don't think it has to have any specific place to go, right? So this right here is the equivalent of that. Oh, it needed to be turned on, and there it goes. So as you can see, it took that XP that this is generating and makes an XP jelly baby. So I have now collected enough jelly babies to do this. Now I know that this method is not the best method for generating mobs that is in this pack currently, but I think it's a really cool thing, and that's what I love to show. So with enough jelly babies, I'm able to make solid XP. Yes, solid XP. It's apparently bouncy. It's apparently bouncy. But we can make an entity spawner out of that. So I'm gonna need to gather these materials, and yeah, we should have this. It's gonna do a 3 by 3 by 1 area. Kind of interesting, wondering how that's gonna work. And I might have to expand this farm just a little bit. So make way, because we are jumping into this. So I believe right here is where I want this entity spawner to go. So it's gonna go right there. Now I'm gonna need to go underneath, and we are going to just run cables down below here, right? So that is how things are going to have to run. I think we can go right through here and not encounter any problems. So I am how many blocks away? I think there's only a couple. Mike. By the way, the bosses spawn like crazy in this dimension. And those are all from Apotheosis. We'll see. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. And right here should be the block we need right there. So what I want to do is I want to run some item pipes underneath here, just like so. And we're going to run these, I think, to this buffer chest, even though I don't think this buffer chest honestly needs to be here, but I'm going to go ahead and get this configured. So this should pull out jelly babies. I know it's so weird every time I say it. It should pull them out and should allow me to send them to that spawner. Okay, so that's hooked up. There we go. Perfect. So jelly babies that are in here, for example, this should get pulled out and the jelly babies get put into here. Now we can show the area, and this is apparently the area that mobs can spawn, which is good. I think that that's perfectly fine being near the vector plates. Hopefully they can actually spawn there. But before I put the spawn egg in, remember that we can put the spawn egg up here, and then there's upgrades that are right here. So we can speed this up if we really wanted to. But as of right now, I don't really want to do that. I want to go ahead and get this covered up and get this nice and hidden. And this should be a self-sustaining mob farm that is also producing mobs that we put in here, which is going to be a blaze. So, moment of truth. Put the spawn egg in. And I don't think it needs anything else. Turn that off. And we hope for the best. Don't know how many it actually needs in order to produce a blaze to be spawned out of here. and its area might be kind of messed up. I might actually have to lift it up a little bit. So maybe the vector plates were causing problems. So I'm going to try it like this and see how many do we actually need. How many jelly babies do we actually need? I'm not quite sure. This is where I'm unfamiliar. Okay, never mind. I just figured out what the problem is. Yep, it requires a lever. This is going to be pretty dangerous for me to just be in here. Turn it on, and I'm going to get my booty out of here because it is now technically running and is about to spawn them in. Let's see how that works. Hopefully the spawning conditions are there. Okay, so it's attempting to spawn, but is not actually spawning. Maybe I can try lowering it down. And it's working lowered down. Okay. Wow, the trial and error that I went through. Okay, for this to work. Okay, it's gonna be a pain. I need to turn you off. Quit. Okay, I think it's turned off. I can't actually tell. No, it is not turned off. Ouch. Okay, so at least I know it's working now, which means that this should now spawn everything in that we need it to do. Whew! Goodness, I just had to lower it down and go through a little bit of trial and error, and there it is. This is all about problem solving. This is why I love modded Minecraft, by the way. Up here. All right. Break that. Turn that on. Close up shop. And did that Enderman... So they should be pushed. They should get pushed. I might have to put a fan back here just to blow the blazes this direction, but it looks like it will work over time. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. And blaze should give a pretty decent amount of XP as well to be converted. So I am seeing a bit of a problem. 100% I'm seeing a problem that we shouldn't be having, but we are. And that is because it requires a redstone signal, it is affecting the vector plates, which is very unfortunate, honestly. And we're gonna have to fix that somehow. So I think the solution in this case is literally just to raise this up, and then we should be good to go. So I just had to raise it up one, so that way it wasn't triggering or sending a redstone signal to the vector plates. So yeah, I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but it's not working now either, now that it is raised up off the ground. And I think that's because it is looking for a surface to spawn them on. And because there's no surface to spawn them on, like there was down here, it's not working. So I might have to, for this farm, remove the vector plates and go with fans instead. So after doing some testing, I've kind of figured out what the best method to do this is. I'm going to push the mobs to the corner now, and they're going to go right here. Right, and that is going to be turned on with a lever over here that I should be able to get to. So we're going to push all the mobs into the corner. I think that's going to be the best way to do this with the mob fans. And I even have a mob fan up here that is going to be pushing the blaze if they do go up. So that should hopefully work. But to kind of demonstrate this, I have a width upgrade in here, which technically makes it 3 wide, but I only need it 2 wide for this area. So this one is going to push all the mobs this way within this 2 wide. This fan is going to push all the mobs this way if they spawn 2 wide. And this one's going to push them all this way 2 wide. And then this is going to push them this way 2 wide, right? So they all have a basic just width upgrade inside of them. And I think that is going to be, honestly, the best way to do this. I think I can turn this fan. I might have to turn this fan on, honestly, via the back. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this to turn that fan on. That fan. We just got levers everywhere. Once I turn this on, it is going to be incredibly hard to move around, except for if I use torches. You can block this with the torch, I think, or even the light. You can see I can actually stand here now and control this. So, yeah. Oh no. It does seem like, oh, it can pass through blocks now. So yeah, let's turn these all on and let's get this plugged back in. So with all this on, I went ahead and moved the bounds here a little bit to fit it better. But I think this is honestly an even faster farm than we had originally set up. And yeah, once we put some upgrades to kill these things faster, I think this will be pretty effective blaze spawner farm. So now at this point, I think it's time to start figuring out how we're going to sort and route these mob drops. Now to get my items from the nether into the overworld, I'm going to be using the ender chest mod. And this does have color codes and you can of course sort these. For right now, I'm going to be going with, well, white. Actually, we can probably try another different color. If we do have a different color, actually, we're going to stick with white for right now. Now it does require these ender pouches, which I believe ender pouches let you access your ender chest. I think they're more than just an item, but right here, you can see we have an ender chest. This one opens up, and when we put an item in it, it's also in this one, right? Very interesting how this opens. This is very different looking, but still functions the same way as any of the other ender chest mods, as you can see. So yeah, all we have to do is just flush items into this and pull them out here at our base. So to get this set up, well, I'm gonna have to break this, and this is going to become a awful mess at first, and then we'll get this nice and cleaned up. So there we go. We'll get all the items broken out, and what I need to do is just replace this here. As you can see, all the items are flowing in that were collected here. I'm gonna go ahead and just get all of the stuff sort of cleared out. And now a lot of this stuff will potentially just be voided off down the road, right? We only need a few things from this. I don't even know if ender pearls will be something that I keep. A lot of this stuff will end up, like I said, getting voided, thankfully, but we might actually have some use for these ender pearls, these extra ender pearls, now that I think about it. Now I am going to be diving into functional storage. This is how we're going to store some of the mob drops, and I think this is going to be a good place to get this started. We're going to put it in our little court area. So I went ahead and made some frame drawers, got myself a storage controller, which is very important, by the way, and now I am dressing these up to make them look interesting. You can see right here, this is how this is going to look, and it's going to kind of match our mahogany going on here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and place this down. Now, thankfully, the storage controller with this mod doesn't actually have to be connected to this, so we can use this elsewhere, but we are going to need to get into functional storage and craft ourselves this thing, a linking tool. This is one. And then we're also going to need a configuration tool. So let's get to setting this up. Here is our ender chest full of all kinds of different items. And then right here is going to be our storage controller. This is going to be connected to all of these and potentially others throughout our playthrough. But trash can is going to need to go up here. And this needs to do a couple of things. We need to go ahead and get a filter placed in it immediately. So I'm going to be using this advanced one. And I might need to just go ahead and apply it right here and start getting some things set up. So let's place it inside. And let's go ahead and make sure we have this mode set. Because I think by default, it just allows everything in. And I don't think that's what we want to do, right? We should probably actually test this out before we just start pulling random junk out of here and voiding things. You know, this is probably good practice to do this. I'm going to go ahead and just place a chest right here, and let's think this is our trash can for now. And what I'll do is pop that, get our upgrade placed inside. I think we have to shift right click or right click to get inside here. Okay, or not. Apparently just had to click on it again just to make sure it worked, but there we go. So items, as you can see, they're rushing in. We don't want that to happen. We want to add a whitelist. And we need to start getting like random items. For example, I want swords. We'll add swords, and we'll make sure that, let's see, match only provided tags, match exact. I don't want it to match. So we'll just clear this and submit. And now we'll be able to test, hopefully. Only those items should go in. It's really hard to test when you have tons of stuff. Okay. Let's try this. Sword, right? We will replace this with a sword. That sword item went up here, but nothing else is going in here now. So we did solve that problem. Okay, good. Now, we do want the majority of these items to be put into these drawers over here, so that way we can access them later. Especially Blaze. Like, Blaze definitely needs to go into a drawer. And what I can do is I can go ahead and just start putting these items in drawers. the ones that I definitely want to keep. Now I have just about all of the items that we are receiving sort of filtered in here. And then what I'm going to need to do is connect this here and hope that this is faster than this cable. I would be using laser IO, but we might get into that later on once we have more resources. But this right here is going to feed into this storage. Now, this storage is not linked up yet, so we do need to use the linking tool. Shift click on that, and then we just select all of the storages that is going to be added to that. And now these are linked, and this should start emptying itself. And I don't think we even need any speed upgrades. And let's go ahead and replace this chest. Yeah, I know I'm using a pick. Let's replace this chest with a trash can. And now I feel a whole lot safer dumping all of this gold. Now I could be smelting this. Actually, we probably should be sending this. I was thinking maybe we could send it to a pulverizer. Doesn't seem like that's the case. Smelting it would give us nuggets. I just don't think it's that worth it at the moment. So I still think voiding it is probably the best bet. Now the cool part about using functional storage for that is we can actually scan for this again as well. And over here, we can find our storage controller. Let's move this to the top. And now I'll have that up in the top. I'll move this down one. And now we have this inventory up here. And we have access. All I got to do is make it routable. And there we go. So now we'll be able to pull out gold and all of our other materials that we get from this, including blaze rods. Now, in the future, I am going to be definitely getting into the apotheosis spawners, and we are going to set up a blaze spawner within the next few episodes that is probably going to just blow this all out of the water. I just thought it was a really cool project to get into. But yeah, we definitely need blaze in a higher capacity than what this farm can even generate. But this is just sort of passive for now, as we need items that require blaze rods. Now, I did almost forget a crucial step, and that is we need to set this to locking mode. So I have it swapped to locking mode. This is the configuration tool, which allows us to lock the inventories here. We'll go ahead and lock the major ones. Make sure that there's no residual items standing out. And now everything's locked. We don't have to worry about these items running out and we lose our inventory slot filter. Now, just to make sure that we get all of these items and we don't have to worry about them overflowing, I want to make sure to use a void upgrade on these particular items. Ender pearls, because that is only going to be able to hit 512, which will probably hit that pretty quick. Everything else will take a while to fill up. And then right here, definitely rotten flesh, the things in these double or these 2x2 drawers. Everything else, yeah, like I said, will take a little bit of time. Now, with Blaze building up, we now have all of this resource, and we also are building up some reliquary items, which we're definitely going to get into soon. But now that I have a little bit of Blaze, this is going to be a great source for source. But we'll have to get into that some other day. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and of course, I would love to thank the supporter of today's video. And that, my friends, is going to be a huge thanks going out to Quiet Borb. Thank you so much for becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. Thank you guys so much, and of course, I would love to see you guys in the next episode. Be sure to click that subscribe button and ring that beautiful notification bell to get a notification when a new video goes live so you don't miss it. Give this video a thumbs up to, of course, feed that algorithm. Comment something down below. I really appreciate it, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.